I have started a new writing project. I can't even take myself seriously when I say that now because I have so many things I have started or thought of and then never returned to. I have never finished anything, but the reason I am picking a new project is I think the blank slate is good. I don't have existing ideas that I am biased towards. If I think of a new idea that would require me to kill my darlings, I don't have to worry about getting too attached. I'm so early in the planning of this. I wouldn't even say I'm planning this story. I'm just brainstorming right now. I am in the what if stage. What if this? What if that? Maybe this. I'm writing down every single idea that comes to mind, no matter how random, no matter how small of a detail, no matter how much it contradicts something I already thought of. I have some ideas that I'm leaning toward, but I'm not ready to make concrete decisions yet. The fact I am in such an early stage of this project makes me hesitant to say that I'm working on it, because it's a very premature promise. But the idea of trying to document it, my thought and my hope is that it will help with accountability. Even if nobody else watches this, I have to literally look myself in the eye and say, like, I'm working on this, I'm gonna do this. Trying to document the actual process and like my thoughts through the process and sort of having a record of the evolution of this project. Not just the project, but like my mindset throughout the project. Hopefully the growth is like in a positive direction. I feel like trying to record it and also write the project, like if it's hard to do both, then I'm just gonna focus on the writing and then I won't upload the vlog and nobody will know. If you're seeing this, then I must be feeling relatively confident right now. I think the main reason I have never finished anything is because I never start with an ending in mind. I always hope and assume it will come to me as I go. But literally every single time I hit the same wall. Oh no, I don't know what happens next because I don't know what happens later, so I don't know how to get to later. I get stuck. I can never problem solve my way out of it. I burn out. I simply just lose momentum and naturally drift to something else, and then I never go back to the project. It feels like an amateur mistake to like start without knowing the ending, but again, like I just was like, oh, I'll figure it out as I go, and I don't ever do that. So the fact that I know that and I'm not going to say, well, maybe this time will be different, I'm actually going to make a change so that this time might be different. I will not start drafting this until I have at least one possible ending in mind. I could get to the middle of chapter 3 and come up with a new piece of like world building that suddenly makes the ending I thought of impossible, and then okay, well, now I just have to think of a new ending before I continue. I do feel like for the sake of momentum, I am just gonna have to make some decisions and say, okay, for now I'm gonna go with idea A and then just follow whatever plot comes out of that. When it comes to planning versus pantsing, I feel like I have to do both. Obviously, without finishing anything, I can't say my process works, but I think the way my brain works when I am working on an outline versus when I am doing the prose work is I'm looking at my story at a different scale. It's kind of like the bird's eye view of the forest versus being on the ground amongst the trees. Sometimes I will not think of certain things in the outline until I start drafting, and it could be one sentence that reveals to me a detail I hadn't considered in the entire outlining process. There are going to be things I won't know about the story until I'm writing the story. I can only plan to a certain point. There are things I need to plan from the beginning, such as an ending. As far as like what I am doing right now on like a day-to-day basis is I get up between like 5 and 6 a.m. What I do is I use a program called Ellipsis. I don't know how well known that is. It's free. I will just do my big word vomit, brain dump, like giant walls of text, and then after a while I will review what I just vomited, and then I will try to isolate key points that I was exploring and the core ideas of these giant paragraphs, and then I will move it into my Notion page where I am doing my best to organize things as I go, but it still feels kind of messy because most of my notes end in question marks. It can get overwhelming because there's so many possibilities, and I'm just trying to take it slow and like work on one idea at a time. If I go about my day and something occurs to me, I will absolutely drop everything to write it down once I'm ready to start drafting. I like the idea of maybe once a week scheduling an all-day writing day where that's just that's my day. And not necessarily from like dawn till dusk, but like a work day of writing. So I can't really afford to just spend all day every day writing. I do make time for it every day. I would rather have the consistent routine of 200 to 500 words every day than every once in a while just having a longer writing stint. I would rather keep it in the forefront of my mind as much as possible. I don't know what content is going to be in this vlog. As of today, it is a month until Christmas, so I am filming this vlog over the course of the holiday season. I don't know how much time I will have for writing. As of this point in my process, my goal is just take it easy, be patient, be consistent, be open-minded. I want to pace myself as best as I can. I don't want to overestimate what I can do, especially because I am trying to find a different process that does work. I've been babbling too much. I'm really hungry. It's lunchtime. I will talk to you either later today or tomorrow or next week. I do not know. Future me will have that answer for you. I just spent 2 hours trying to write just the blurb as an exercise for myself to establish what is this story about and like setting it up for myself. As I tend to lose the forest for the trees sometimes, especially early in a project. What I'm thinking in the blurb that I have written is that I don't think I have established what the conflict really is. I don't know what's at stake, which means I don't know why anybody should care. I realized for one of my old works in progress, I remembered one of my protagonists. I did not know what his stakes were either. When I think about like his conflict, I realized I didn't really have any consequences if that problem didn't get solved. I guess I haven't talked about what this story is. It's a cyberpunk narrative, which is so out of my comfort zone. If you had asked me at the beginning of the year what I thought I would be working on by the end of the year, in no reality would I have expected that I would get an idea for some kind of sci-fi story. I am not a sci-fi person. I haven't ever been, but I'll tell you what happened is I played Mass Effect. I played the trilogy for the first time this year at the recommendation of some trusted friends, and it like changed everything for me. Like my horizons were so broadened. I went from kind of resisting sci-fi because I was like, I don't really, it's like aesthetically it doesn't appeal to me as much. I'm not smart enough to appreciate sci-fi. It was just so separate from me. It wasn't something I ever associated myself with. In finishing that trilogy of games, I just went on like a sci-fi binge. The type of media I was not only willing to consume but actively seeking out was just so different from anything I'd ever pursued before, and now here I am writing my own. It's like subgenre of sci-fi, not space travel, but that's kind of where my journey was taking me. It was like into the subgenres of sci-fi, and now here I am, so that's crazy. What the hell was my point on that tangent? Oh, I was just explaining the story, that it's like a cyberpunk story. That was my whole point, is it's a cyberpunk story. There's a romantic subplot. It's also, I don't know if I would call it like a mystery or if it's more like intrigue. Sometimes I worry I'm not smart enough to like write the concepts that I come up with, or even be able to flesh them out enough to try and write them. I definitely have some insecurity about this project. Am I even able to write this? Can I make this make sense? Like, are my ideas rooted in enough of reality for you to suspend your disbelief? If I start researching deeper into what I'm looking into, am I gonna realize my idea is stupid? My whole point was just to say, hey, I realized I haven't specified what the stakes in this story are, so I think it's 2:30 now. I feel like my brain is melted. I identified a problem I didn't realize I had, which I would say is progress.
It's a celebration. I can't believe you let him take on an acquisition. I mean, usually I love livers and
I think it's been exactly a week since I last spoke to you directly. With the long weekend, I didn't make much time for proper writing sessions. I was making some notes here and there, but I didn't have like a session. I hope you didn't mind the little deviation with some of the crafting. I know that was not writing related, but it wasn't enough to make its own video, and I thought it was fun to include. And hey, you could argue that sometimes the writing process involves doing something that's not writing. Exercise other creative outlets. Give your mind a little break so it stops spinning in circles and your eyes don't cross. But I am trying to get back into routine today. I got up early again. I did my little writing session in the dark, but then daylight came and it was a beautiful, perfect snowfall, and I spent like an hour and a half just running around to all the windows and in the front door and out the back door, full of childlike delight. You would think I had never seen snow before, as excited as I get every time I do see snow. It's calm, it's peaceful, it's still, it's pure. I'm not sweating, and there are no bugs. But anyway, today I was working on some world building specifically for Project Hyacinth, which I did not actually say out loud the last time I was talking about this. In my quest to develop an effective process, I began to wonder, okay, we have plot, we have world building, and we have character. Obviously, all three affect each other, but I began to wonder if one of them needs more attention in the beginning, or is there an ideal way to balance time between all three of them? That answer is probably going to be super subjective, and that's going to be dependent on everybody's own process. For me, I kind of go back and forth between I don't want to be too scattered between all of the aspects to where I'm not making much progress with any of them, but I also don't want to be so focused on one that I begin to get stuck in the weeds and I sort of neglect the other parts of the story. I notice in the process so far how things relate, if I'm working on a character. What's my character's motivation? Let's say it's money. What do they need money for? Survival? Okay, that probably implies they're a low-class citizen. So now I switch to world building. What does it look like to live as a lower-class citizen in this particular city? And then if we want to go plot, what is something my character would do to get that money? If they're willing to kill a guy, now I have a scene where they kill a guy. So it kind of all plays together like that, and I don't know if I just need to keep looking at it that way, or just say today I'm gonna focus on character A and I'm gonna develop their backstory and like what does their daily life look like and what are they motivated by, what are they willing to do to get what they want, etc., and just try to focus on that. And then as I go, if I get ideas for the world building related to that, I will make a note of that. I will write that down, but I won't spend too much time on it until I feel like I've made significant progress with the character or whatever I said I was going to focus on for that particular session. It's an idea for part of the approach of building a process that I may or may not work for me. I will just learn through trial and error what seems to work for me and what isn't very effective, or maybe something that has potential to work if I tweak it a little bit. There's going to be a lot of learning. In general, with this project, that's probably where I'll leave this vlog because I'm effectively still in the same position I was when I started insofar as the step I'm at in the process. I did my best to show what does a writing session look like at this point in the process for me. I can only film myself typing from so many angles so many times before it starts to get a little redundant. So I probably won't make another vlog until I feel like I'm in a different step in the process. Also, as far as vlogging, for writing specifically, I said in the beginning, I think it could help with accountability for sure, but I don't want to go too far into it to where I start getting more worried about making a vlog than I am the actual writing. I'm not trying to also become like a career content creator through this. This is just something I want to do for fun sometimes. I wouldn't call myself a baker, but sometimes I feel like making cookies. But if I make a batch of cookies, I don't need to do it under the stipulation that now I have to plan to open a patisserie. I have this thought where it's like, if I can't make 3 videos a week, then I shouldn't make any videos at all ever. And that's just silly. That's dumb. If I feel like making a video, I'm gonna make a video. I guess that's my chaotic note to leave on. If you are becoming a YouTuber, if you are writing a book, if you are opening a patisserie, good luck. Do the best you can with what you have. Be proud of the work that you put into it, even if it's not a perfect result, and all of those inspiring things. So until we meet again, I'll just say goodbye for now, and I appreciate if you watched this far. Thanks so much. Maybe I'll see you again someday. Okay, bye. Oh, come on.
Miss Peepers Peepers.
Oh.